Hello and good morning, and welcome to Virtual Coffee. I'm your host, Cheryl Leong from the Growth Hub, and I'd love for you to help me welcome Dr. Linda Wilson. Hello, Linda. How are you today?
Hello, Cheryl. I'm really well. Good morning, everybody. I hope I give you lots of value this morning in our chat.
I'm really excited to have you here, Linda, because I know you're a coach, but we also had a lot of experience in that traditional Chinese medicine place. But what we're going to be talking about is the whole idea of changing your mind towards success. And I know it sounds a little bit possibly cliche, but it is such a powerful thing that we need to remember, that you have that strength over your mind to change your reality.
Yes, I think too often people feel as though their mind is set, and I often use the term mind flow because our mind, our brain, flows. Mindset implies a stagnation. It implies something that is fixed. It implies a lack of flexibility. And actually what we're going for is flow in the way that we operate in the world, because that gives us the opportunity to adapt and respond rather than react. So yeah, lots to talk about.
Absolutely. So before we go through, Linda, give us a little bit of a background about who you are, what is it that you do, and how you're helping people get through this whole, strengthen their mind and really transform it so they are able to, exactly what the words in your banner are, to change, to grow and adapt.
Yeah. So just to tell you a little bit about my history, I guess, I grew up in the middle of Central Australia, Alice Springs. And for anyone who's been there, you know that it is just this vast, open desert space. And really outside of the town, what you've got is lots of natural phenomena that are amazing to go and visit. But essentially, it's desert. And so what that meant is that the people that I interacted with as a child, they were pretty special because there were so few of them, really. I mean, we're talking 50 odd years ago now. And so I became really curious about people, and that sent me on a lifelong journey, basically, of really trying to understand, what is it that makes us tick? What is it that forms our personality? What is it that drives us in our life to make certain decisions or not make certain decisions? So I've had that real fascination with individuals and the choices that they make and the experiences and emotions that they have. So that led me to traditional Chinese medicine, because that connection between the mind and the body is something that really fascinated me. We don't have anything going on up here that's not also going on in our physical body, and vice versa. So, it was kind of like a trajectory from corporate back to traditional Chinese medicine into education, and then I've been running my own practice for over 20 years now, dealing with individuals and teaching groups how to make that connection between what they're thinking and the emotions they're experiencing, and how they can actually transform that in their lives to achieve what it is that is more valuable to them, or expresses who they are more clearly in their life through their actions and words.
Yeah, and so let's talk it and break that down, because let's give an example. We've got business people here, we've got small business owners. What are you finding that sort of provide putting in the roadblocks or the to get people to where they want to be? People go into business going, I'm going to start off doing something that I love. I want to create the level of freedom that I am. Is that what you're finding is generally an easy flow, or is that generally people are getting stuck, and why is that? What are you seeing the trends in that?
What am I saying? Yeah. So, there's a lot of talk, and has been for years now, about the lifestyle business. So the one that gives you time, money, location, freedom, etc., etc. And it all sounds wonderful. The reality is, though, that we've all grown up with different experiences. We have our own internal understanding of what the world is supposed to look like, how we're supposed to feel, what it is that we need to get set up in our lives. And so when we make change, often what is required of our brain or our mind is to utilize resources in a really fast way to compensate for that change. And we don't know how to manage that. So people are coming and seeing me when they're in they're highly stressed. So stress management is a big part of what I help people to manage. The other thing that they come and see me for is that they're just basically frozen. They actually don't know how to progress from where they are. And they have a sort of, I guess, a limited understanding of the fact that they actually just need to implement some tools and some strategies to break through to that next level and feel comfortable while they're doing it. Because we stop when we start to feel too uncomfortable. And it's there that people drop out of courses or go back to doing something that they previously were doing because it all gets a bit too hard. So my primary job is to teach people how to walk themselves and mentor themselves through those stops and those blocks.
And so what would you say is a good starting point for people? Because we talked about some things that you mentioned is stress and being stuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to go to the beginning and work out why people are doing what they're doing to start?
Absolutely. Yep. A lot of conversation in the last few years from Simon Sinek, finding your why. And that is a very, very powerful place to start. But one of the things that I teach people, we might talk about this a little bit later in our conversation, but one of the things that I'm very focused on at the moment is this concept of IKIGAI. And people might have seen that being, thrown around as a term online as well. And the reason that IKIGAI is such a vital conversation to have, I guess, is because of what it actually offers us in terms of our understanding of where we are now and a vision for where it is that we want to get to. So IKIGAI asks 4 simple questions. What do you love? What are you good at? What can you get paid for? And what does the world need? And so if we're able to answer those questions and then find a need out there in the world to bring all of the things that we love, the things that we can get paid for, and the things that we're good at, and offer that as a product or a service, we're living a passion, we're living a calling, we're living a vision. And what that does is it helps us to break through those difficulties because there's so much pulling us into our future. We've created that image and that strength of purpose in our mind, and it enables us to just keep pushing when things get tough. And things inevitably get tough, don't they, Cheryl? I mean,
absolutely.
If we look at what the world is going through now, there is no straight line. It is more often a roller coaster. And certainly this year for many people has been a huge roller coaster. So being really grounded in that vision, understanding your passion and your purpose will help you to keep moving forward when things get tough.
And what are the tools, Linda, for people to actually identify and pinpoint what that is? Because a lot of us don't really know very often what we're passionate about or what we're good at.
Yeah.
And so it's like, especially when, if you're talking about young people that are coming out from, high school, uni and all, they're sort of going, I don't know, I'm trying to find my feet. And let alone the people who have been in jobs for the sake of being in jobs that have almost lost that passion to an extent. What are the tools that people can use to find out what that is?
So there's a couple of things that I encourage people to do, and sometimes this is about getting external feedback as well. So in terms of finding out what is your passion, and I agree with you, this can be difficult because we tend to live our lives on autopilot a lot of the time, and we don't actually do that deeper reflection unless we're in a situation where we're receiving mentoring or coaching or support in some other way. So I often say to people, I want you to go back to when you were a really small child. And where did you lose yourself? Where did time disappear? Where did you find yourself so engrossed in what it was you were doing that the rest of the world just sort of faded into the background? And it can be things for people like, as children, it's often drawing, being outside in nature, connecting with friends. And you just look at those simple components and then you work out, well, how can I bring that same, the essence of that into what I want to do in my life? So, for example, children who just lost themselves in drawing, maybe that person needs to go and do an art class. Maybe they just need to give themselves space to draw as an adult, and that will actually help them to come back to their essential self and what it is that enables them to be grounded and connected to themselves. So that's one way I would do it. The other thing that I would do is also ask other people, what do you perceive that I'm good at? How have I offered you value? What is it that I've done for you, or what is it that I've created for you that has that I've enjoyed doing, but that has been of great service or of great value to you? So asking questions, really powerful way to get information. That deeper reflection on self and where you've come from, really powerful way to get access to information as well.
Yeah. And once you've got that level of, I'd say, awareness of that, you know, and say people find themselves going, oh, I'm not doing what I'm passionate about and what I'm good at.
Yes.
But I'm getting paid.
Yes. Great question. It's something that I get all the time. So do not, whatever you do, resign tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
What I recommend, that's it. What I recommend you do is be really, really conscious in the choices that you make if you make this discovery. I encourage you to make this discovery, but if you make this discovery, I want you to be really conscious of the choices that you make from there. So let's face it, we need to be financially stable. We need to have income to live in this world that we exist in. So what I encourage people to do from that point is to find ways to bring this new understanding about themselves into their work. So what could that look like? For example, you might be responsible for a number of different projects in your job, and you may have some discretion as to which you're involved in or which you're not. Find those projects or those tasks or those jobs that are closer to that expression of who you are. So we talked, for example, around a child who loved drawing. You may be responsible for some design work at your business. You may be responsible for creating advertising material. You may be responsible for creating letterheads and things like that. Find ways to bring those skills into the job that you are already doing so that you're touching that area of passion in your life. Then look at how could you sensibly and responsibly transition out of that position into something else that is more of a reflection of who you are and the gifts that you have. So I'm not saying it's for some people, they wake up one morning and go, that's it, I'm out and I'm off on this grand adventure in life. Wonderful. It's not something that I would necessarily say is a good move for everyone. So be really intentional and smart about making those choices.
Yeah, and for those of who are in sort of, well, we're talking about work, but let's talk about business people and business owners who have gone on this path of going, all right, obviously the job thing that worked for me, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to create my own life, right? But then we get caught up in this whole overwhelming doing everything, and then the stress comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when we get that sort of that motion of I'm stuck because there's so much to do and everything else. So again, how do we break away from that or deal with it and manage that well as business owners?
Yeah. that business owners are primarily who I deal with. So I see this time and time and time again. And one of the things that I say to people is, you can make a decision to take control of this, or it will take control of you. And that's called burnout or illness or mental health issues or chronic fatigue, or the business goes down the drain, or there's a whole range of, serious outcomes that can come from us not making the choice to really grab a hold of this and take control. As business owners, we should be controlling our business. There's that word, should be. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it can happen all the time, but I am saying that when we set up a business, what is part of the responsibility of that is backing ourselves. Now, it's difficult when you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or you have a very, very small team. Everybody's got to wear every single hat. But one of those hats really needs to be, how am I taking care of myself physically and emotionally so that I'm sustainable? Because we talk about business sustainability all the time. What we don't talk about is personal sustainability. As a business owner, you're mentoring other people in your team, but you're certainly, if you're on your own as a solopreneur, you're responsible for your own physical and mental and emotional well-being. So even though it's not sexy to say you need to practice self-care, I use the term self-sustainability. You need to be putting those things into your business day and your normal day that helps you to stay grounded, to stay present, to stay creative, because business is all about creativity, and to clear all of the clutter out so that you are focused and intentional in the work you do. I know you would have heard, Cheryl, that there was this, for a while there was all the multitasking. Oh, multitasking. We know now that that is just a complete and utter waste of resources and time. And so I help people to become really intentional in what they're doing in any given time of the day or night, so that they're fully present and focused on that. That plays a major role in people feeling like they're in control of their business rather than their business being in control of them. So there's that aspect. The other aspect, of course, is our physical health. How are you taking care of your physical health? How are you taking care of your spiritual health if you do have a spiritual practice? Are you making sure that you're connecting with your spiritual community in some way, whether that be faith-based church or whatever it is? Are you making sure that you are taking time just to relax? Are you getting a massage once a month? Are you walking out in nature? Are you feeding your body well? Are you hydrating? Are you sleeping? Are you getting a cuddle every day from someone to get, all of those beautiful neurochemicals? So they're not sexy things. They're simple things. They're easy to implement, but we must be conscious of doing it in a regimented way, in the same way that we do with booking our business meetings, our coffee catch-ups, our education, etc.
Yeah, even the simple point of going out for a walk, and even like you said, the hug, like the chemicals that come out of that,
Yeah.
That's such an interesting point, because we're so engrossed in business sometimes it's just like this, and we forget to sort of go, I need a break.
Yeah, I'm a human being.
I need to go, I need to laugh, I need to be social and have connection with people as well, from something outside of business.
Yeah. I did a lot of talks during the time that we first locked down, Cheryl, because suddenly people's business environment was very much their home environment. And that didn't create a lot of change when you would already be working from home. But for many, many people to suddenly have to create a business environment in their home was an extremely difficult thing to do. So I did a lot of presentations and talks online, of course, about how people can be intentional about setting up a business environment so that our brain makes that switch between, oh, there's my lounge room over there and that's my social connection space. Here's my desk, you know, maybe it's a kitchen table because it was so varied and different for so many different people. Here's my desk. And at my desk, I have all of those things that are a trigger for my mind that I am now working. And I have everything that I need to be able to focus on that task in front of me. The kids are occupied, the dogs are locked in the room, so there's no barking. The postman's already delivered the mail. I can sit down now and really focus. Yeah. Setting up our physical environments as well as our external environments as well as our internal environments for success are things that are easy to do, and then we just have to follow through.
Yeah, and so I know, Linda, that you also facilitate a course with, you know, and guide people through this.
Yes.
Talk to us about that and how we're able to do that whole balance of life and work and balancing that mental, physical, you know, emotional self so that we can thrive in the world.
Yes. Well, you know, that work-life balance, it's all of life, isn't it though? You know, yeah. It's all of life. And so we need to be thinking about it as one continuum rather than this and then that. We are present in both of those spaces. And so we need to be looking at how am I being myself in both of those spaces. So the course that I offer is a 12-week course. It's called Mensana, which means healthy mind. And basically what it's about is understanding our mind and regulating and managing our emotions for our well-being long-term. So the lessons of IKIGAI we've already mentioned is the primary, this is where we start, with actually really taking a bit of a deep dive into finding out what your passion is, what it is you can contribute to the world and what you're fantastic at, so that, you know, you are grounded in what it is you want to bring to the world. We also look at stress management and emotional management. We look at red flags, which is a way to understand how to monitor our thoughts and our feelings. We look at things like meaning. How do we actually create meaning? Neuroscience at the moment is actually telling us that the flight, fight, and freeze response is a really inaccurate way of describing what goes on in the brain when we're, you know, in particular situations. And what instead they're understanding is the way that the brain has to utilize meaning and prediction to move us through our world. So we have a look at those kinds of things. Understanding our motivations and what drives us. So there's 12 separate sections. We look at a whole range of topics, and my goal is to just upskill people with some tools and some strategies so that they're really clear about where they're going. Just to give you an example, one of my previous students had a project that was 16 years old. And when we sat down and worked out why it was that she really needed to finish this project, it was done within 2 weeks. So we're really intentional and we're really focused, but it takes implementation, right? You can have the best teacher in the world, but you need to be committed to making change for yourself.
Yeah. And so what can people expect to get out of this, having gone through sort of the 12 months?
Yeah.
12 weeks, sorry.
I think the main thing is just an enormous amount of clarity about where they're going and why. And we set up goals, which I know for a lot of people is like a dirty word. It used to be a dirty word for me as well. But really goals are like aspirations. I teach people how to set goals properly. Yes. So that they're not this huge pipe dream out there, or they're not something that's, you know, completely uninspiring, like you got to clean your bedroom. What I do is make a connection between that vision and those little tiny tasks that need to be done and bring that all together. So there's real emotional congruence for a person. It makes sense why we do these things, because this is the direction that we're going in. So people can expect to have a lot of clarity. There is a lot of time for deep reflection. There are very small online groups, so my students tend to form really strong connections with each other that, you know, last outside of the 12-week program. And don't we all need like-minded people in our lives? And just a whole lot of strategies that they can go back to when they feel like they're kind of falling off the edge of where it is that they want to go. And I teach people what are the red flags so that you know when that is happening, because we all get them. It's whether we're paying attention or not that is the difference.
Yeah. And exactly what you're saying is having that clarity, particularly going into a new year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really timely to be able to sit down and go, all right, what's 2020 been like? And am I noticing that there are certain, whether blocks within myself or self-beliefs that I need to overcome?
Yeah.
Get me to where I need to be.
Yeah, I think we have been through such incredible turmoil in the last 12 months. And if there was ever a time to clear the clutter out, this is it. If there's ever a time to really reassess where it is that you're wanting to go and why, this is it. You know, we're moving into a new world. It's not the world that we knew. It is a brand new world, and that takes a new mindset and a new attitude and understanding of habits and behaviors to, you know, grow into the I guess the strongest version of yourself, the most grown up, if you want to put it that way, but also joyful and alive version of yourself. Now's the time. If not now, when?
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic, Linda. Dr. Linda Wilson, it's been fantastic. If people want to find out about the course that you're doing and a little bit more about you, where's the best place for them to do that?
They can email me at connect@drlindawilson.com. They can track me down on Facebook under Dr. Linda Wilson, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. You'll see a lot of information about my business and corporate work on LinkedIn under my name, Dr. Linda Wilson, as well.
Great, that's too easy. And the Mensana course and modules, how do they usually get run? Is it a specific start date?
Yes, so it's Tuesday evenings from 7 p.m. If I have enough people, so I get a group of people together. It's generally a small group of between 6 to 12 people, and we start when I have the right mix, because it does need to be the right mix, and then we get going. So if people are interested, indicate your interest, send me your name and your phone number, and I will be back in touch with you as soon as the next group is going to start. It runs for 12 weeks, and we do an hour of talking and then about 20 minutes or so of reflection and feedback every week as well. And you have homework that you'll set.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate your time. I think this is definitely a topic that I know for myself, really at this point going, all right, what's the year been like? I want to get set for 2021, make it amazing, but I need to do a whole lot of self-reflection as well, because often we manifest and we're a reflection in our lives and business of what we believe internally.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The way that your brain works is what you focus on and what you believe you will create more of.
Yeah.
And the very simple science behind that is that our brains are predictors. So we're not actually ever in the moment as such. Our brain is already a few seconds ahead of us, predicting what is the next move. And the way that we can get in front of that is by developing our own skills and tools and our own mental flexibility, so that we can predict more accurately, or we can respond more healthily to whatever it is that's going on around us.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you, Linda. You have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and I will definitely see you in the new year. Anyone that has any comments or questions, please reach out to Linda. She is tagged in the post here. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And
My
enjoy
pleasure.
the rest of the day. Thank you for joining me for virtual coffee.
Have a wonderful Christmas break, everybody. Stay safe, and looking forward to a beautiful 2021 with everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now.